Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome to the first part of my new Let's Play for The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. As you may have been able to see in the startup here, this is being played on the Nintendo GameCube Game Boy Player. It is a physical add-on to the Nintendo GameCube that allows you to play your GameCube games, or rather, your Game Boy games on the television through the GameCube. So it's actually quite a nifty thing, and it's what I usually use to play Game Boy games. I never really play them portably. But yeah, what I will be doing is getting up again, and I will be inserting the cartridge, because the way you do it is you launch into the Game Boy Player, and then you actually press Z to open this menu here. And then what you do is you go to Change Game Pack. That allows you to insert it or remove it. If you go to change game pack while you're in game, that will actually eject it. That will eject the software, not physically eject it. You have to do that yourself, of course. It's not quite that advanced. But if I go to change game pack, and of course it asks me if I want to insert a game pack and start a new game, I will select yes. And then I can insert a new game pack, and once I do that, the actual game will start. I'll be back in just a moment. Just like that, we are loading into the Minish Cap. Now, I have a few options as far as what controller I'm going to use. I could either use a GameCube controller. If I had one of those Hori gamepads, or Hori, I don't know, I'd be able to use one of those, but those are ridiculously expensive and really not worth getting anyway. Or I could actually connect a Game Boy Advance to my GameCube and play that way. That is how I'm going to play. I'm going to be playing with an actual Game Boy Advance connected to my GameCube, and I'll be using that as a controller. Doesn't get more authentic than that, does it? You're actually playing with the Game Boy Advance, so authentic in the sense that you're basically playing in the way they expect you to. So let me just go and get my Game Boy then. I have it, also Bob the Builder is hard at work over the Easter weekend, as you would expect, but yeah, this is my Game Boy here, Game Boy Advance of course, and I can turn it on like that, and what it does, I'm not going to try to show this because the problem with the old Game Boys is that the screens are very, they're not very bright, so I wouldn't be able to show this off, but what it does is it launches Game Boy, and then it actually understands that it's connected to the Game Boy Player, and then Game Boy Player appears on the screen of the Game Boy Advance. It's not until that appears on the screen of the Game Boy Advance that you're actually able to play using the controller. So if I press start here, I'll be in the game. I will actually remove this profile. I have a lot to talk about, actually, because, oh, what are you doing, Twitch? Why are you blinking like that? You really do annoy me, I have to tell you, Twitch. My playback, I intentionally... Oh, I see why it's doing that. It's because my my GameCube controller was resting against the spacebar, and it's still fucked. Oh. But yeah, my playback on Twitch is literally blinking. It's like... exactly like what I just did. So, I really wasn't expecting to start this Let's Play immediately. That was not something that I was expecting to do. Well, I shouldn't say immediately, I should say I wasn't expecting to start it now. I was expecting to start it in a number of months' time from now. The reason being that I was in the middle of working on my A Link to the Past Let's Play, but yesterday, as I was loading into the game while live, with the intention of actually recording Part 6 of the A Link to the Past Let's Play, I discovered that all of my saves had been removed, like they were gone forever, they disappeared. And no doubt the reason for that is because of a dead save battery. So I need to actually take the time to get the necessary screwdriver to open up those cartridges. And then, as in, you know, SNES cartridges, and I will no doubt need one in the future for maybe N64 cartridges. I think it's a different thing for Game Boy Advance games, although it might not be. Let me actually check that now, I'm kind of interested. No, it's the same thing, same screw, at least for original Game Boy. Oh, it's just a, is that Tri-Wing? Looks like Tri-Wing for Game Boy Advance cartridges. Well, that works out well. I have Tri-Wing, actually. I needed one to open up my Wii U somewhat recently because I needed to clean it out. But yeah, I was going to show off a cartridge here as well. I really need to get my thoughts in order, though. I have a lot to talk about. So yeah, unfortunately, because I actually lost that save for that Let's Play, I'm putting it on hold. I will definitely at some point actually get around to changing the save battery. I will play a new character up to the point where I had last left off in the A Link to the Past Let's Play. And then what I will do is I will resume at that point. But unfortunately, I can't really do that immediately. I'm not really in a position to do that, so yeah, this is the way it's going to be. It's alright, John Ross. John Ross was there for it. He says, sorry about what happened in the last stream. Yeah, it is what it is. Fortunately, YouTube has noticed that I'm playing the Minish cap, and it has set the game to the Minish cap on YouTube. I do enjoy it when YouTube can actually identify what game it is that I'm playing. But yeah, so with that being said, here I am in The Legend of Zelda the Minish cap because I decided that I would pick up the game that I was planning on recording after. Oh, I was actually considering maybe doing Link's Awakening after A Link to the Past, wasn't I? Well, that's alright. I really do feel like playing the Minish cap more than I feel like playing Link's Awakening right now, so I'm going to do that. And I actually had two choices as far as what game I was going to play. Also, hello Vernon. I had two choices as far as what game I was going to play. I could either play the original European version. I say original because it's an earlier build of the game. It's actually the same build, to my understanding, as the original Japanese release. And that was in 2004. In 2005, the game released in the US and in Australia. And there was also, at that same time in 2005, as far as I know, a re-release in Japan with the newer build of the game, because they realized in Japan that it would be strange for people to be playing an older version while a fairly updated version was existing in other countries. They usually don't bother with that, and they usually just let the Japanese play the older build, but this time they decided to do a re-release. And they are noticeably different. Certain things were changed, and I will say that certain things were made easier in the newer version. What I'm going to be playing in this Let's Play is the newer version. It is the version that you are most likely familiar with. The version that I was considering playing but decided against playing, and I will explain why, is the cartridge that I hold in my hand here, but to actually show it to you, I will need to turn off my chroma key because there's a lot of green on it, and as a result, my green screen, as in chroma key, will take out all the colors, so I will turn that off briefly just so I can show you that. Chroma key off, and then I can show you the cartridge, just like that. That is the original European cartridge. Those of you who are familiar with the US and Australian versions will know that it's just a red label, like it's just this red, generic looking label with Zelda the Minish cap on it. Now, I've got no idea why they decided for the re-release to have such a crappy looking label, because I'm telling you, the European version, and I think the Japanese version looked the same, had a really nice label with the Picori Forest, or the Minish Woods, I think I should call it. And unfortunately, they didn't do that for the re-release, and I'll never understand why. That would never make sense to me. It's beyond all reason, in my opinion, to have a downgrade in design visually. But yeah, I actually had to also clean this cartridge. I loaded it in before, and it froze, and then I had to eject it and put it back in, and then it got stuck on the loading screen, and the text was all garbled, or garbled, I guess would be the word, garbled. Yeah, I don't think Goebbels is here with us today to witness my cartridge fucking up. But I have cartridges everywhere. I've got my Link's Awakening cartridge sitting like in my hand here. It's because I've got them all stored in one place. I might actually put them away here. One thing that I could have done, this was an option available to me for the links, or rather a Link to the Past Let's Play, was I could have actually loaded in a Link to the Past Game Boy Advance cartridge and actually played that way. But I really wanted to continue with the Super Nintendo version. I felt that it would be a shame to continue in the Game Boy Advance version. If I were to do a recording of the Game Boy Advance version, it would be a separate recording series, and I wouldn't really want to replace the current one with that, so I will just put it on hold for a period of time until I actually get around to soldering a new save battery on the game. So it's going to be a bit of effort, but it'll be worth it in the end. When it comes to that cartridge, my hope is that it will actually retain the information that's saved on the cartridge, which tells you how many times the game has been completed. That's what I'm really hoping. I can live with losing my single 100% save file that I had on it, plus my Let's Play file, if it still retains the information as to how many times the game's been beaten, because that is what gives it its 30 years of history. That's what allows you to see what the cartridge has been doing all this time. So, yeah, let's cross our fingers and hope that that's been saved somewhere else other than on the save battery. But, yeah, I'm doing alright then. I'm just ready to start a new Let's Play, I suppose. Now, I mostly play the European version. The reason why we're now referring to the Minish cap, I'm jumping around a bit here, but again, I had a lot to say. And I might actually get a beverage organised while I'm talking here, because then that'll cut down the downtime. Because, I mean, we're probably quite far through this recording already, and I haven't even... 12 minutes in and I haven't gotten past the start screen yet. But that's the way things are, you see, with old Doom Link. So, yeah, I usually play the European version, and I still haven't finished the European version, to be completely honest. The reason why I'm not going to be playing on the European version is not just because it's a version that you are unfamiliar with. I would actually be more incentivized to record a version that you are unfamiliar with, because it would be more interesting, right? Well, unfortunately there is one major problem with the European version. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking La Chouffe today. I've got a bottle here that Chroma Key is taking colours out of, but anyway. Really wanted to get Triple Carmelite today, but I couldn't stomach the $10 per bottle price tag, so here I am with a 750ml bottle of La Chouffe. 'Tis beer, of course. So, yeah, the major problem with the European version of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, in other words, the original build of the game, and this is a piece of information that those of you who are familiar with how the game works will appreciate, but those who are not familiar with the game might not yet understand what I'm talking about. But when you receive the... damn it, what are they called again? Those little medallions. I had the word in my head not long ago at all, and now it's lost me again. Those little medallions that you pick up from various characters throughout the world, and you sort of match them with other people's medallions. Well, what are they called? How have I forgotten what they're called? It's ridiculous. Anyway, when you actually gain access to something as a result of the matching of those medallions, there is a marker that appears on the map that says, go here, you can interact with something. Now, in the original European version of the game, even if you go to that location, like let's say there's a chest that appears somewhere in Hyrule, you go to that chest and you open it, great, you've taken care of the treasure, you've taken care of what you had access to, and you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? Well, the problem is that the marker does not disappear from the screen in the European version. The marker will always be there. And the problem with this is that, come maybe 2 dungeons later, maybe not even 2 dungeons later, you will not be entirely sure whether or not you picked up that chest. And even if you are sure, there's that sense of uncertainty because the marker is still there saying it's there. ready to be opened, or at the very least saying that there's something to interact with there. In the European version, in the US, Australian, and re-released Japanese version, the 2005 version, if I had to say it in a slightly less long-winded fashion, actually removes the icons that alert you to these different things to interact with on the maps, or on the map I should say, disappears when you interact with it. And that way you don't have to worry about whether or not you've been there, because it's obvious that you've been there if there's no marker, and it's obvious that you haven't if the marker is there. And to be honest, the latter scenario that we have to deal with in the European version makes this game considerably less enjoyable to play. Like, it's a real problem. But, yeah, I will try to give you an example. And, I will have to do that in-game. Because I don't really play or haven't yet played, I suppose would be the accurate way to say it. Because I haven't yet played the US version. I do have the US version, by the way. I don't have the Australian version. Doesn't matter though, because it's all region free, the Game Boy Advance. Yes, because I don't really play it, I haven't actually gone through this character at all, really. It's basically untouched. So I will erase this, because I wasn't even expecting to do this Let's Play this early on, so I will erase that, erasing file, and we will create a new file. We will name it Link. I just want to go through the same starting cutscene, because if I were to load into that save, it wouldn't go through the same scene, so it makes sense to create a new character here. I always name my characters Link, it's just what I do. I don't self-insert, you know. I'm playing as Link, so I name my file Link. Of course, naming it after you or giving it some other name is not necessarily self-insertion, but the idea is that I consider the name of the file to be the name of the character I'm playing as. That's how I've always thought of it. One thing that you will notice with this game is that everything is designed based on Wind Waker, really. Wind Waker is the basis for this. Consider it to be a 2D version of Wind Waker. Sort of got that Toon Link design for Link himself. He's blonde, of course, a blonde Link began with Ocarina of Time, but really was solidified by way of the Toon Link that appeared in Wind Waker. So in order of game release, I believe it went Wind Waker, the Minish Cap, Four Swords Adventures, yes, and then Phantom Hourglass. There was a time when I wasn't entirely sure which came out first, this or Four Swords Adventures. I will definitely do a recording of Four Swords Adventures at some point in the future, but in a different setting to the Let's Play format, because I've already done a Let's Play of Four Swords Adventures, but I'd like to just play through it again, probably in the livestream playthrough series or something like that. Good morning, Master Smith. To actually skip text faster, we need to hold A, so... Or is it B? Must be B. Goodness me, Princess Zelda. Did you sneak out of the castle and come all this way alone? The minister is sure to be worried about you. You know how he gets. Funny joke, John, funny joke. I had seen that you had asked a question and I was ready to answer it seriously, and then I actually read it and then I realized that it was a silly joke. I'm just letting my beer settle. It's quite unsettled at the moment. Oh, don't worry about him. He'll be fine. Where's Link? The whole town is bustling for the annual Picori Festival. I thought he and I might go together. Would you mind terribly? Oh, is that what you're here for? Well, Link was up late helping me last night, and he's still asleep. But I do have an errand at the castle. Yes, that should be fine. Link, time to get up. And somehow he yelled so loudly that Link actually awakens. Link, time to get up. And then, rather creepily, he opens his eyes while lying down, and it's really odd. Now, this is probably my favourite 2D Zelda game, top-down Zelda game. Why do I prefer it to A Link to the Past? I guess because it's just a better game, generally. As a Zelda game, I would say that this is just the better Zelda game. I feel that A Link to the Past ends up being more... You were serious? Whatever. But, yeah, lost my train of thought now. The reason why A Link to the Past is more celebrated is because it came out in 1991. This came out in 2004. So, along those same lines, I feel that I can't really say definitively that this is the better game. I would have to say that if we don't take into account when the games came out, this would be the better game. But A Link to the Past has a certain level of untouchability to it. It ages so perfectly in the sense that it doesn't age at all. It's just, it doesn't necessarily get better as it ages, but it certainly doesn't get worse as it ages. It's like a time capsule. Doesn't matter what generation of gaming you are a part of, you will enjoy A Link to the Past even though it came out 30 years ago. It's an amazing video game. Oh, that's good. It's been a little while since I had La Chouffe. Okay. But, yeah, as far as comparing the two games, this one is more intricate, and just... I really do think that they stepped up to the plate and decided to make a game in the vein of A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and do it better than both of them, and they did a very good job in that respect. This game is quite comparable to A Link to the Past in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't necessarily say that for Link's Awakening. I'm of course talking about the original one, the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. In other words, Link's Awakening DX for Deluxe. That game is very retro, very... It's not for casuals, let me put it that way. When you play through the original Link's Awakening, it's not like this game. I mean, this game is a little different to A Link to the Past in that it's not as casual friendly either, or beginner friendly. There will be times when you're playing through this game where your progression point is not obvious. In A Link to the Past, you never have to worry about that. It's a very easy game to play. You'll just sit back and play through the whole thing without difficulty. Really, that's how A Link to the Past is. This game isn't really like that, and even more so, Link's Awakening is definitely not like that. But I believe they changed it with the remake. Of course they would. I mean, I haven't played the remake, but yeah. That's good to hear, Del Crackle. I'm glad you've got it. I've got 2 cartridges, and I was tossing up between doing either the European one or this US version. Hey Link, Princess Zelda is here. She'd like to know if you'd join her at the festival. Yeah, Link, come on, let's go check out the festival together. Of course, if you notice either the design of Link or the design of Zelda, you will notice that it is definitely based on Wind Waker, as I said. Master Smith already gave me permission to take you. Yes, after all, the festival only comes once a year. Go on, have fun. And while you're there, you can do me a favour. I just finished making this sword for the minister at Hyrule Castle. I'd like you to deliver it to him. You've accepted the Smith sword. Make sure you don't lose this extremely important delivery. I don't know how you'd lose a sword, that's kind of difficult. What, you put it down somewhere and then you forget it and then someone takes it? I guess that's one way you could lose it, but... Generally, the larger the item is, the harder it is to leave it somewhere in a forgetful manner. This is the blade that will be presented to the winner of the competition. Don't lose it, and while the two of you may be childhood friends, remember, Zelda is the Princess of Hyrule. You watch over her. Don't let anything bad happen to her. Master Smith, quit worrying. We'll be perfectly safe. Come on, Link, let's go check out the festival. So we watch her leave because she's apparently so impatient that she can't allow me to escort her out or just go with me. You've got 2 options for opening chests, I believe. You can either press R to open as it says in-game, or you can press R to open. Now I'm wondering if I should put myself on the left side or the right side of the screen. You know, I think I should put myself on the left side, because there's nothing on the left side that I would be covering, I don't think. But on the right side I am covering the rupee counter. So maybe it would be better to put myself over on the other side. I'll do that. There we go. And now I'm on the opposite side. Weird, isn't it? The previous position was non-flipped. This is flipped. So now if I were to show text on the screen, it would be mirrored, basically. You'll notice that this music is quite memorable, and does not originate from this game. So can I press A to open? Yes, I can. But you can also, as I said, press R, which you would expect, because, I mean, it would be more unusual for A to work, because that does not appear on the screen as a button prompt. But R does, so yes, you can also press R. Now, your roll button is R. Of course, this is a Game Boy Advance game, so you've got a limited number of buttons here. L does not do anything. Only R works. L, what it does is actually nothing here. What L usually does if you're playing a Game Boy or Game Boy Color game is it stretches the view in the Game Boy player. It stretches and contracts it. But because this is already, you know, at a good aspect ratio, it doesn't need to be stretched or anything like that. Yeah, the sprite work in this game is indeed lovely. And this is the sort of thing that I can't handle the way they do sprites now. I mean, they're not even sprites, are they? I hate the art style of Link's Awakening Remake and A Link Between Worlds. To me, this is the way it should always be. It should just... I understand that you feel, as game designers, like you need to improve on what you have. But I feel that this should be something that should remain sacred. I think once you get to this point, you should just stop. Leave it like this. Have all the new Zelda games look like this. I feel the same way about Pokemon, to be honest. And I'm not a Pokemon player, so I won't speak to Pokemon too much. But I feel that this kind of art style really is something that should remain forever. You shouldn't try to make it better or modernize it in any way. I feel like the modern designs for those games are just a bit too polished. They just don't look right. It looks like it's too squeaky clean and polished and so round as well. Everything's so round and I just don't like it. It's not right. This is the way it should be. So, Zelda has gone and taken off, so we will try to catch up with her. I'm very thirsty. Let's go and head out here. She didn't even close the door. She's so inconsiderate. Link, over here. So I don't think we can interact with the grass here. One thing to take note of is I think there is a music change here in the early part of the game. I don't know if the music that plays right here is the same in the European version. There are certain changes like that across the European, or rather the 2004 and the 2005 versions of this game. There are difficulty changes as well. In other words, it's made easier in this game in certain regards. I can't think of specific examples, unfortunately. If you are interested in the differences between the 2004 and 2005 versions, there is information online. But I'm playing the US version at the moment. I agree, John. Link, hurry, let's go. I'm trying to follow you as best I can. Over here, come on, hurry up. She's a bit excited, as you can tell. Well, here we are, the town of Hyrule. Here we are, Link. Doesn't it look fun? Come on, let's look around. Yes, indeed. This is a place that you will be returning to, or that we will be returning to, quite often. This is definitely a hub of the game. A lot goes on here, and there are a lot of people to talk with. Kinstones, that's what they're called. I was calling them medallions. I mean, medallion is a good word, because if you compare them, for instance, to the medallions that you acquire in Ocarina of Time, very similar looking things. So medallion will hopefully have been sufficient as far as allowing you to work out what the hell I'm talking about, but is work out how to get OBS to reconnect faster. Has that messed up the stream on YouTube? I don't care about another VOD being created on Twitch, I really don't give a shit. Please tell me that it's still live on YouTube. If it's not, we have a serious problem on our hands, we really do. Thank God. We're still live on YouTube. Had that created a separate VOD, that would have been the end of it. That would have been the end of it. So, we're back. I'm in the way of the text. I can't be on this side of the screen after all. So if I'm over here, I shouldn't be in the way of it, because you can see that the text is leaning to the left side, and it doesn't really go across the whole text box over to the right. So, excuse me, so as long as I'm on this side we should be alright. Unfortunately, I will be in the way of the rupee counter, but you can live with that. So thank God it didn't create another VOD on YouTube. That would have been the end. It would have been the end. It wouldn't have even created another VOD, you see. What it would have done is it would have just not, thought it was just you. Cool. But yes, it wouldn't have even created another VOD. It would have just stopped the stream, and then I would have had to stop and reinitiate the whole thing, and it would have just been a mess. That is the downside to going live, you see, and I wish it wasn't something that I had to do, but I do feel that going live is just the way forward for my channel, so. Okay, now that we're back in business, let's go. Link, there's a storyteller here. We should stop and listen to... Oh, I wonder what's over there. Basically, there is a lot going on during the Picori festival, and as a result, she's a bit, I guess, distracted by lots of things. So the Picori are real. My father always told me they were. Oh, look at that. Say, wasn't there going to be a sword fighting tournament at the castle? I wonder who won this year. Oh wow, over here. Bob the Builder's going at it over there. Fucking dickhead. We have a winner. Oh my, Princess Zelda, you won the grand prize in our drawing? Wow. You get your choice of any of these wonderful prizes. What will it be? First, we have this lovely heart-shaped stone. Next, we have this magnificent gem. And finally, there's this teeny tiny shield. So, which one would you like? Let me guess, the jewel? Oh, but this heartstone is very cute too. Choose whichever you'd like. The shield is so adorable, I think I'll take it. What? Why? Why would you want that ugly thing? What about the heartstone? It's cute. Or this giant gem, it's pretty. Honestly, they're both much nicer than that nasty little shield thing. Nope, I want the shield. Can I have it? What a strange princess you are. Well, okay, here's your teeny tiny shield. Needless to say, that's not going to be for Zelda's use, as you can imagine. Here, I want to give you a present. Doesn't this shield suit you perfectly, Link? Now, this is a great moment of character development for Zelda. They sort of introduce her as a somewhat inconsiderate, but sort of, it's linked to immaturity more than anything else, her lack of consideration. The way that she just sort of runs off, leaves Link behind, and we have to chase after her while she's getting distracted by all the different things that are at the festival. And then, when she is given an opportunity to collect a prize, she gives up on the two things that she ideally would want, and goes for the shield just to give Link a gift. I think it really does show that she's a nice character generally. The shield does indeed suit me, and we just acquired the small shield. Yes, I know there's a new VOD on Twitch, but fortunately it's the same one on YouTube, so thank fuck for that. Otherwise that just would have been the end, really. Hold the button to protect yourself. It is a little embarrassing though, it's so tiny. One thing that I'm probably going to do, because my light is constantly reflecting, I mean you can see it on my face a little bit here, the light being reflected from the screen of my Game Boy Advance. onto my face. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a little post-it note and put it over my Game Boy Advance screen. One moment. It is worth taking note that it is not possible to play on the screen of the Game Boy Advance when you're playing with the GameCube Game Boy player. God, I can't get my bloody words together at the moment. But, yes. What was I saying? Fucking hell. The worst thing to possibly do is read chats when you're in the middle of a thought, because then you lose the thought. So I'm going to try and not do that. But, yes, it is only going to be used as a controller when you have the Game Boy Advance plugged into your GameCube when using the GameCube Game Boy player. It is a little embarrassing though, it's so tiny. What do you mean? It's the perfect size for me. Yep, just as I thought. You look great. Now, if anything happens, you can protect me with that shield. Oh, I almost forgot. We have to take Master Smith's sword to the castle. Let's go, Link. Alright, so now she'll actually follow behind us. And we will make our way to the north, over to the castle, because we need to make our delivery. Come on, Link, let's hurry to the castle. Now, for some reason, once you get out here and make your way to the castle, there are just going to be enemies around, to my understanding. And we're about to find out. Oh my god. She's being physically assaulted by what I believe to... yeah, it's a business scrub. It's not a Deku scrub, it's an actual business scrub. That must be the business scrub I heard the soldiers talking about. They were saying a Deku scrub had been hassling all the passers-by. Link, do something about it, otherwise we can't get to the castle. If only we had some way to defend ourselves against those nuts of his. There we go. So one thing to mention also is that A and B are just your equipment buttons. You can equip anything to those buttons. The shield can be set to B or to A, whatever you would prefer. In fact, you don't even need to have the shield equipped at all. And sometimes you won't want to have the shield equipped. In fact, I generally don't equip the shield. So, yeah. Please forgive me, sir. I heard there was a festival and I came to town hoping to hawk my wares. Unfortunately, we scrubs have a tendency to spit nuts when we speak. Everyone got scared and ran away, and no one would buy anything. This is a terrible place to do business. I'm going back to my cave. Well, there you go. Somehow, not only did he disappear, but all of his bloody trees disappeared too. Actually, I feel a little sorry for that business scrub, but that nut hurt. Oh well. He won't be hassling anyone now. We'd better hurry to the castle. Let's do that. So, I currently have 20 rupees. Again, I have to give you guys an update on my rupee count, because I'm in the way of it, but it's better to be on this side than on the left side, as we have come to realize, and I'm glad that I noticed that before doing the rest of this recording while being in the way of a lot of the text, so that is a good thing. Yeah. Oh, Link, you brought the sword, did you? Then, as minister to the kingdom of Hyrule, I, Potho, accept this blade. You came just in time. The award ceremony will begin soon. I'm sorry, Link, but I'd better go. I have to prepare for the ceremony. I like how no one... She's quite autonomous, isn't she? Independent. She is not being... well, looked after to ensure that she's ready for the festival at the appropriate time. She's just going off and having fun, and then they just need to expect that she will have the responsibility to actually get herself ready for the festival, or rather get herself ready for the award ceremony at the appropriate time. You too, Vernon. Yeah, it is a rather cute sprite. For the Deku Scrub. I had a good time at the festival, thanks for coming with me. Since you're here, Link, why don't you join us for the award ceremony? I will do so. And it's cutscene time. What on earth is that? Well, you'll find out. Do you know about that sword, Link? Well, it turns out you're going to find out right now. It's called the Picori Blade, and it looks much... or rather, it locks much evil away in that chest. The Picori Blade is sacred among the people of Hyrule. The legend has it that long ago the Picori gave us this blade. Whoever wins the competition earns the honor of touching the sacred blade. And I'm sure you also recognize this model, or this appearance of the king. If you did play Wind Waker, that is to say. Princess Peach needs a personality, she should take notes. Well, I don't think anyone, or maybe some people prefer Princess Peach to Zelda, but I don't know who. And I probably wouldn't want to know them personally. Let the award ceremony commence. Vaati, champion of the competition, you may approach the blade. And here's Vaati. If I had the presence of mind, I would have named myself after Vaati back in the day, but I've had the name of Doom Link for so long now, I think I'm quite fine with it, but I do prefer Vaati as a character to Link, I must say. To think things would go this well. The Picori Blade and the bound chest spoken of in Hylian lore. This chest must hold that which I seek. I will relieve you of its contents now. Unfortunately, the guards really can't do anything to protect the blade. Do not interfere with me. As victor, I've earned the right to approach the Picori Blade. I've been waiting for this moment. And the sword snaps. And this is the great evil that was locked away. Strangely, Zelda seemed to have some sort of barrier protecting her, whereas the king just went flying. I don't know where the king is now, I guess he's dead. Who are you? Why are you doing this? The princess with the mystic aura. The power that was gifted to the people of Hyrule still flows within the veins of the ladies of its royal family? Interesting. If I leave you now, you'll only cause me trouble later, and that will never do. You're not familiar with the Minish Cap, Arexian. It's a very good one, it's one of the best ones. To stone with you. God, that vibrating screen really is quite awful to look at. All who stand in my way shall share this fate. Now, to find out what power awaits me in this chest. Empty? There was nothing in there but a rabble of monsters? What is the meaning of this? Well, I know the force I'm after is still somewhere out there. I'm in no hurry. I can take my time searching for it. And off he goes. Is the game loud enough? I like to have these games fairly loud, but maybe the volume is appropriate. Oh, I see. It's one of these situations where if you don't touch your controller, you'll be sitting in here sleeping forever. So I'd better actually do something with my controller. There we go. And then Link again in... it just looks creepy when he opens his eyes. He's just like... That's what it looks like to me. He's just this... He's got these beady little eyes that open and he looks around a bit. It's fucking scary. There is actually no sound at the moment. There will be certain times when there's just no sound in-game. Hello. Oh, thank goodness. You've awakened. Master Smith is here as well. He's come to see His Majesty the King. It's a tiny bit low? Alright. She will be boosted then. Thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate feedback, because I can't really hear how it is on your end. I can only go based on the audio levels that appear on OBS, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's not clear. So apparently the king's alright. Shockingly. Oh, Link, you're awake. Are you feeling alright? Stand at my side. The King of Hyrule is about to speak. It is as you have all heard. A sorcerer named Vaati has cursed my fair Zelda and turned her to stone. One problem with drinking beer on camera... I wish I was stoned like Zelda, yeah right. One problem with drinking beer on camera while you're trying to do commentaries is that you do get, well, you do get gassy, because it's carbonated, you see. sometimes you're holding in these belches, you know. Well, not actual belches, but, you know, sometimes you get an air bubble, like a gas bubble in your throat, and you're just like, ugh. That's how it is with me, anyway. If we had the sacred Picori Blade, we likely could have broken the curse, but Vaati shattered the blade. However, I have not given up hope. What do you know about the Picori? The Picori? Not much beyond what the fairy tales say. They're supposed to be very tiny, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, the ones from the fairy tales. But the Picori are no mere legend, they most certainly exist. No one outside of the royal family knows the truth about them. The Picori, who forged the sacred blade, live deep within Minish woods. They should be able to repair the broken blade and reforge the sword. What? Then we must dispatch the soldiers there at once. No, soldiers will not do. The Picori do not show themselves to anyone but children. Aha. Our soldiers could search for days and still find no sign of them. I see. If that's the case, then why not send Link? If Link has recovered, then yes, I would like to ask this of him. Please, turn my precious Zelda back to normal. I cannot turn her to normal. I can have other people do that. I can help in getting her returned to normal, but I myself cannot return her to normal, you see. The Picori should know how to create a new sacred sword. It will be a dangerous journey, now that those monsters have been freed. Please take this sword with you, along with the broken Picori Blade. You accepted the broken Picori Blade. I think I probably called it the Minish sword in the past. It's actually the Picori Blade. Oh well. This is part of the sword needed to reforge the sacred sword. Don't lose it. There are a lot of different swords that exist. You've got the Master Sword, you've got the Goddess Sword, the Phantom Sword, the Picori Blade, the Force Sword. There are a lot of Master Sword equivalents throughout the series, and I enjoy that. I don't think we always need the Master Sword, because that's no fun. Link needs different weapons throughout the ages, doesn't he? You got the Smith Sword. It's a sharp blade made by your grandfather. Very well then. Send the soldiers to search for Vaati at once. There we go, the soldiers can go and be useless over that way, and I will actually do the main quest. Deep within the Minish woods you'll find a place called Deepwood Shrine. Once, humans and Picori shared that shrine as a meeting place. I don't really know how that would work. How can you even hear them talk? They're so damn small. They would have to, you know, get a megaphone out or something. I think it would be best if you started your search there. Take this map with you. If you get lost on your way to the forest, simply check your map. Just press start, and then L or R to open the map. Right, so L does have a use, but only in the item screen, not outside of it. I've marked the location of the forest for you. Good luck and be careful. You've got a map of Hyrule. Now you'll never get lost. So I believe that you never really have parts of the map opened out to you by way of acquiring map pieces or anything like that. I believe the way in which new locations are marked on your map is by physically going there, or by having a new objective unlock for you as you play. So there we go. I'm counting on you, Link. Only you can break Vaati's curse and free Princess Zelda. Very well. So, what I generally... I guess I do prefer B to be my attacking button. Yeah, that feels natural to me. I swear I swapped it when I was last playing, but B feels more comfortable, honestly. Yeah, well, we're definitely keeping it on B, that is. So, as I said, this is your item screen, and you can equip any item to A or B. In other words, you don't always have your sword equipped, and you don't always have your shield equipped. If you actually need two items that are neither your sword nor your shield, you just won't have either of them. You'll have to settle for those two slots. That's what you've got on hand. Well, that's correct, El Cracker. That's not a... no, that's right. It doesn't solve the balancing, and it certainly doesn't solve the fact that no one else will do what you're doing, so... I do know that you can do that, Del Cracker, but yeah, unfortunately, not really a solution. Hello, Gaming. So we can go through different parts of the, I guess, start screen. I would call this the start screen, and then you've got different sub-screens within the start screen. You've got an item screen, I'm pressing L to scroll through. You've got the map, and then you've got quest status, and I believe that's all, yeah. So quest status will actually have information pertaining to our quest, and, well, the name of it would probably indicate that. Sleep. Go to sleep screen. Well, we can save whenever we want, and I will save now, but I wonder what the hell the sleep screen is. I see. So that's very good. If for one reason or another, you need to turn off your game, you can activate sleep mode, no doubt, and then that's actually pretty good. You don't get that with older Game Boy Advance games even, but modern Game Boy Advance games like this, I don't think the sleep option was there in the 2004 version. In other words, the original Japanese and the European versions. I don't think there was a sleep option, but obviously you can select sleep, and then if you turn off your system, when you relaunch the game, you'll be able to return to exactly where you had gone into sleep mode. So like if you're in the middle of a dungeon in one specific spot, you will be able to return there. You're playing The Thing, a classic PS2 game. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoy yourself. The Thing. Could get that on PS2. One thing that I've always wanted to do, I've never gotten around to it because I have so many games that I enjoy playing. I will try to fix my, hold on. It's getting a little brighter outside, and I don't like how orange I look. I don't like the lighting for this recording, by the way. I mean, I try not to talk about it because I know you guys don't really care, but my lighting right now, I look a bit too orange and I'm a bit too illuminated, etc. But it's getting a bit brighter outside, so that's going to kind of work in my favor. I'm going to do a few adjustments. How's that? That's a little better. Sorry if my boom stand's noisy as I am adjusting it. What I was going to say is that one thing that I've always wanted to do is actually just record random unknown games that are just really dumb, maybe even ones designed for kids, just so that I can be really sarcastic while playing them. I would enjoy that, but I've never gotten around to it because there are so many actual real games that I want to play on this channel that I don't know when that will happen, where I can just play random ass games. Like, I'm talking weird shit, I'm talking like Barbie games, I'm talking like games for kids, like for 5-year-olds, like just dumb shit. Really dumb shit like that. And then I can be super sarcastic the whole time. But I've always wanted to do that from the beginning of doing Let's Plays, you know, 11 years ago. I've always wanted to do that, but it's the number of games that I actually want to play is so vast that I've never gotten around to doing that, because that's something that I do when I've run out of games to play. I just play random shit. Play COD? No, I've got Doom Link FPS for that, and that's a different story altogether. I've only played this for a couple of dungeons, but this game was good. It's more than good, it's really one of the best expressions of the Zelda formula. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I mean, they absolutely outdid themselves with the Minish cap. They really, really did. Because if you think about it, this was not... When you have games like Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past, and even the original Zelda, as games you've made in the past, the pressure is on to make something of that level of value. Like, of that... Just trying to keep it at that level of perfection is really hard. They not only managed to do that, they made something that rivaled those games. Well and truly. I mean, this game stands on its own as a pillar of Zelda perfection. It's just so well done. So well done. I have a teacher that reminds me of you. He's a huge video game collector, and we keep saying that he should become a streamer. Well, he's probably more of a video game collector than I am. I'm not really a collector. I only have games that I have a lot of good games, I guess, but they're ones that I want to actually play. I don't really collect for the sake of collecting, at least not with video games. When I have a game, it's because I actually play it. I don't just collect it. So, have I played any of the Baldur's Gate games? No, not really. Oh, you should do that Barney game where you don't even have to touch the controller to beat the game. Just sit there and talk the shit the whole time. I could do that. I could do that. I mean, seriously, I'm willing to play those games, and I'm willing to... You know what I probably could do? I could just get a bunch of really shit. You know what's going to end up happening? Because I want to do all the Spyro games, right? And I hope you realise that some of the Spyro games are fucking shit. Like, really shit. My intention is to get all the Game Boy Advance Spyro games. And I think it's going to be a bit like that. I think it's going to be just me sitting there, just shitting on the game the whole time and being really sarcastic, and it's enjoyable. I have said time and time again that the entertainment factor of a recording that I do is very dependent upon the game that I'm playing. I always found that my recordings of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers, were pretty funny, because that game gave me so much material, it really did. But I'm not really a funny person, but I make myself laugh at least. So there you go. We've taken care of most of the monsters out there. Be careful around Minish Woods, though. The woods are thick with them. Rightio. I should play Zelda CDI. I don't know if I could bring myself to do that. The problem with Zelda CDI is that I would want to actually play it on its original system. But that shit's fucking expensive. That shit was expensive more than 10 years ago. I remember when I was first considering getting into CDI. That was maybe like 2008, 2009, something like that. That shit was out of my price range then. I don't want to imagine what it's become now, because you have to understand that a lot of stuff has gone from being dirt cheap to really collectible and expensive in the last 10 years. Once you go over that 10-year mark, well, God forbid if it was collectible over 10 years ago, I don't even want to know how it is now. I'd probably cry if I looked at what some of those Philips CDI consoles would be worth. And then the games themselves. I know Zelda's Adventure is probably just a disgusting fucking price now. I mean, I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want to know. Wii Sports. Wii Sports is a good game. There's not much to make fun of with Wii Sports. I'm just sort of going around here, maybe gathering a bit of rupees, or gathering a few rupees would be the appropriate way to say that. Unfortunately, you don't have a separate button for opening the map. What I would have liked was to have the map on select, and then you open the start screen for items and quest status, but instead you have to go to the start screen and then go to map to see where you are. So we are currently in the area that is between the castle and the town, so we want to continue south, get to South Hyrule Field, and then continue east from there. And we shall do that. One thing that also bothers me, I mean it's a small complaint I guess, but when you are in the start screen here, you can't press B to go back. That's not how that works. You press start again to leave it. Now that's not necessarily non-intuitive, it's just, or unintuitive, it's just, modern games usually use B. So, what ends up happening is that you have this expectation in your subconscious mind that pressing B will take you back, and then it doesn't, and then you're just left there going, okay, that's awkward. Oh, you can actually cut these. Looks like I don't need a Pokemon that has learned cut, which is good. I'm just reminded of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games when I see these things. It's like I need the cut move or something like that. These holes here cannot be traversed by Link. He can only place, or rather roll, the rock into the hole from the other side, at which point a shortcut will be created. Now, these holes can also be interacted with using what I believe to be called the Cane of something. What is it again? It's some cane that you receive. I think it's from the second dungeon or something like that. Second or third. But, yeah, you toss this beam of light in and then you can actually get launched out of the hole. It's kind of interesting. But it's one of those things that you just, unless it is actually mentioned specifically that you can do that, I'm not sure if it does, but if it's not specifically mentioned that you can use the cane in that way, that's pretty, that's not obvious, you know, I wouldn't think to do that personally. Alright, yeah, I don't know what goodwill is either. But I suppose that's been explained by John Ross. But yes, I do plan to play the Spyro games. I don't know when I'll do that. I mean, I really want to do that soon. My plan... Look, this is the thing. I get very easily distracted. My plan with Let's Playing sort of reset when I made this channel in 2014. My original channel was made in 2009. But that eventually was removed for certain reasons relating to copyright issues. And, you know, lost all my progress there with Let's Playing. But my plan has always been to do all Zelda games, Let's Play all Zelda games, and then, you know, work on other stuff at that point. I've done one Let's Play of a Spyro game, that was Dawn of the Dragon, but I'm definitely going to do all Spyro games, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be really fun. Right, Goodwill is a chain thrift store out here in the US, I see. Right, it definitely is an American thing. Doesn't exist out here. I'm surprised that there is a chain thrift store. Over here, they're not chains, I'll put it that way. They're just, you know, thrift stores that you go to. Look at the size of this head. I mean, it looks nice, doesn't it? Definitely looks nice, but if you actually drink that, you're getting a mouthful of fucking head. Get it? Put that on a shirt. Mouthful of head, and say, no, I'm talking about beer. I'm talking about beer. Jeez. But, yes, I'm sure you could find games pretty cheaply there, because, you know, some people, it is true, you get it on eBay as well, and all those sort of websites, but some people just don't know the value of things. And, I feel that these days, a good thrift store will actually do some research on their games before they put a price tag on it for purchase, because some games really are collectible, and it's just money. It's money that you're not making, so they should actually check to see online listings of the game in question, and then determine the price of it, but a lot don't do that. So, there you go. You're on the hunt for a Sega Saturn. Have fun with that. I don't have a Sega Saturn, and I think part of the reason why is because I don't have many games that I would want to play on it. But, I'm sure I'll get one eventually. Sadly, I remember the times when it was very easy to get a Sega Saturn. Although I don't think they were ever super cheap, they never really became dirt cheap. You could obviously get them at garage sales and things like that, but... yeah. As far as buying them online, I feel like they were always... well, they were never dirt cheap at the very least. So, I believe, where are we currently? I'm losing track of where I'm going. I'm really not keeping on task, am I? As far as how long this recording is going to go for, I'll have it be about an hour and 30-minute recording, just because it's the first recording. I want to get maybe something done. There's a lot of introductory stuff here in the first part, so... yeah, there's me crapping on, there's the game beginning, and me going through cutscenes in-game, so... yeah, as a result, I feel that it's necessary for me to maybe do a bit of a longer recording. The only live Let's Play... oh, I forgot to mark it as live for YouTube. Well, you can tell that it's live. I'll put that in brackets after I finish this recording. But, yes, what I will do is... I will, keep it to about an hour in length, each live Let's Play. The only one that I'm not doing that way is Breath of the Wild, because I just want to get that finished as soon as possible. It's more watchable when it's a shorter recording, and that's the way I differentiate between the live stream playthrough series and live Let's Plays. Live Let's Plays are shorter VODs, whereas live stream playthroughs are ideally pretty long, like 3 to 5 hours in length, sometimes 6 if I'm going crazy that day. But, you'll find Pokemon Emerald on eBay, for sure. You just have to, you do obviously have to be very careful with the reproductions and bootlegs. the fake versions. I did find Pokemon Emerald. I don't like getting the... I want to play the Pokemon games on their original cartridges. I don't own the original cartridges for the Pokemon games, but as much as I want to play them, I don't really want to spend, like, over $100 for a fucking Pokemon cartridge. Because that's how much it costs if it's legitimate. And unfortunately, with the nature of how easy it is to make a fake Game Boy Advance cartridge, or just Game Boy cartridge in general, I wouldn't trust a listing that was cheap. Like lower than the asking price, the typical asking price for a legitimate copy of, say, Pokemon Emerald. I wouldn't trust one that was a low price, I just wouldn't. I'd be like, well, what's the catch? It's fake, right? So I would actually be more willing to spend more money just for that slight guarantee. Usually, I mean, 9 times out of 10, without even looking under the hood, we could say, in other words, looking at the actual PCB of the game itself, you can tell whether it's a fake or not, because they can never make the fakes look so good that it gets past my discerning eye. But yeah, it's usually obvious without even opening the cartridge that it's fake, but I'm always waiting for you to play a Zelda game, and you start a Minish Cap playthrough? You haven't played this one yet, so you can't watch. Play it. Play it, Andredo. Seriously. You have to play it. Because it's crazy seeing that people haven't played it. Because this, I mean, any Zelda fan has to play this game for the reason that it's one of the best. I mean, this isn't just some random game that's in the Zelda series, it's one of the best. You must play it. Well, no, I don't, Andredo, because I have put my A Link to the Past Let's Play on hold, my live Let's Play on hold, because I lost all my saves for that. My save battery died on my cartridge for A Link to the Past, my PAL Super Nintendo cartridge, and as a result, lost all my saves. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put that on hold until such time that I can solder a new save battery on that damn thing. And I don't have a soldering iron, I do not have solder, I do not have the battery, I don't have any of that shit, so it'll probably be a few months until I get around doing that, or get around to doing that. So, yes, given that that's on hold, I decided to start a new Let's Play for Zelda. So here we are. And also, Skyward Sword has been cancelled. The only Zelda Let's Plays that I'm doing right now, right in this moment, are Breath of the Wild, Phantom Hourglass, and the Minish Cap. And we will all be old and grey by the time I'm done with Phantom Hourglass. And for that matter, Breath of the Wild. So, yeah. It does suck, gaming. It's funny because I mentioned it at the start of this recording, and also it is on my channel, but I was actually recording what was intended to be part 6 of the A Link to the Past Let's Play, and as I was loading into the game I was like, where are my saves? And I didn't believe that they were gone at first. I didn't think that that was reasonable, because when I had first launched the cartridge, it launched to a blank screen. I thought that somehow the cartridge had launched incorrectly. When you're dealing with old SNES cartridges, weird shit happens, you know. I wasn't prepared to immediately assume that the saves were gone. And this was all live, and it was renamed. It's Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, SNES PAL 50, hyphen, all saves gone. That is the recording that I have on YouTube that precedes this one. And that was originally Let's Play Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past Part 6. But I found out while live that my saves were bloody gone, so that was pretty bad. And I took about 20 minutes to really mull that over on camera, but yeah, that was kind of crap, but unfortunately when you're dealing with old cartridges, sometimes you just have to live with it. You just live with it. Old cartridges are like that. But yes, I will be it will undergo maintenance, in other words. Where the hell am I? What am I doing with myself? We do want to go that way. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really not keeping track of what I'm doing in-game. Those of you who are more interested in seeing me progress through the game are probably like, Doomlink, what the fuck are you doing? To which I apologize for my my lack of progress up until this point. So we want to continue across through here. We are about to meet a very important character. Oh god, get off me. We're not going to meet him by going this way, but we will by going this. Stop! Get out of the water, please. I'm sorry to hear that, again. How much is a soldering kit? I don't know. I would want a good soldering iron. I mean, I plan to do this with, like, when you have a lot of Game Boy games, like old Game Boy games and also old Game Boy Advance games, some Game Boy Advance games also use save batteries. If you've got lots of Game Boy cartridges, SNES cartridges, old Nintendo 64 cartridges, you're going to have to, over time, solder new batteries on. It's just what it is. So I definitely need a kit for that, and I'll get that done. I do have experience with soldering. I'm not a novice in that regard. I did do an education in audio engineering, which had, you know, an electronics, I suppose, course involved there, which was, I was doing some hands-on soldering work. I basically made a mic preamp from scratch. Actually, from scratch. So that obviously serves as good soldering experience. One thing that I'm not too impressed with is the prospect of constantly having to resolder over several decades different save batteries on these things. Like, if you do it once, not a big deal, but the more you have to, you know, take off the solder once you liquefy it and then reapply it, I mean, you're basically burning the PCB, but it's not a big deal, but it's finite, in other words. But I think they probably design it in such a way that the save battery is not close to anything that would really really be affected by constant resoldering. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. There are certain fixes to that. I think it's I think what you do as a fix to that is get a battery holder of sorts and then install that instead, so that way you don't have to resolder, you take the battery out. But then that involves, to my understanding, like getting insulated wiring and I don't have time for that shit. You've got to be kidding me. So and then I saw one person taping it as well, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not doing that business. So I'm trying to keep it simple. Help me! Okay. So this is where the unique aspect to Minish Cap comes from. Indeed, in these Zelda games that you play, you often have a companion of some sort. You've either got a fairy, you've got a boat that talks. In this case, we have a hat that talks. Ouch, won't somebody stop them? Ow, help, somebody, can't anybody hear me? This became, at least from my memory in the origin story, or the split timeline theory, whatever, the origin of Link's hat. Which makes sense to me, because if you think about it, it's literally Link's hat, but it talks. So that would make sense as an origin story. How do I donate so you can get one? Oh my god, Andrew, I will give you the link for that. Thank you. You don't have to donate the whole cost of it, just donate as you like, and I appreciate that. I'll just get that in the chat now. I mean, sometimes I have it in my video descriptions, but I haven't been putting it in my video descriptions lately. I do have a donate button, but I just haven't been... I've been lazy with that, I guess. There you go. That's That's the Doom Link PayPal thing. It was in my video descriptions for a time, but I got lazy. I got very lazy. Hey kid, you there? Ow. Hey, don't just stand there, do something. Ow, what's wrong with you? Do you like watching me take this abuse? Help me. Of course I don't like watching you take this abuse. You are my precious companion in this game, although I am taking way too many hits for that to be appropriate. In other words, I do have a shield, so I should be able to block these damn Deku Seeds, but you know. Whew, well done. That was close. Not that I couldn't handle them myself. But that's beside the point. What in the world is a lone child doing so deep in the woods? Ho, I see. The Picori, you say? And Vaati? Vaati's cursed someone? What? The Sacred Blade? Is that so? I see. You know, you and I have quite a lot in common. You see, I too am on a quest to break a curse of Vaati's. And you say that reforging the Sacred Blade can break his curse, eh? Well, then you have found yourself a companion, my boy. My name is Eslo. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And then, I believe he will complain about us moving too fast. Wait, I say. You walk so quickly, too quickly in fact. Can't you go any slower? Surely you've noticed that I have no legs. Boy, take a good look at me. Do you really think I can walk that fast? Ah! If it isn't one thing, it's another. You are a troublesome boy. Then he jumps on my head and I don't look too impressed about it. There! Now you can't possibly leave me behind. My, it's quite comfortable up here. More comfortable than it looks, surely. Hey, quit your squirming. Can't you sit still? Yes, that's it. Much better. Now I suppose a boy like you has much to learn about the world, or still has much to learn about the world. If you ever need my insight, press select. I'll be happy to help. Okay, so that's where select comes in. Ah, such a hopeless child. Here I was wanting the map on select, but actually, you can talk to Eslo at any time by pressing select. What? I haven't even had time to settle in and you're bothering me? Deepwood Shrine lies, obviously enough, deep in the heart of these woods. So says my superior intuitive sense. Now get a move on. See what I mean? What a great companion. This is how you do companions, not like Navi. Navi's a nothing character. She's not even a character. You wouldn't call it a character. But yeah, seriously? Every single companion that has existed since Navi has been much better designed than Navi herself, and I suppose the reason why was because they realized that that was a problem. Look, the thing with Navi is that she does serve a purpose. She's supposed to be emotionless, I guess, but unfortunately when you're playing a video game you want a companion that is actually vibrant and dynamic. The reason why, well, not just that on its own, but also specifically when we're talking about a Zelda game, you have to realize that Link is not a very talkative character. In fact, he doesn't talk at all. So therefore, you can't really get much of a personality communicated through a mute character. You can, if you try to do that, but Nintendo doesn't try to do that. Link has never had much of a personality, unfortunately, but when Link has a companion, that is a way to draw personality out of Link, but more than anything else, there is a personality for the player to appreciate as they're playing through the game, because you're not going to get it out of Link, put it that way. The problem with having Navi or Fi from Skyward Sword, and I can't believe that they had Fi from Skyward Sword be so fucking emotionless after what they did with Navi. You would have thought they would have learned their lesson, but they clearly didn't. The reason why it's a problem to have such an emotionless companion or follower in a Zelda game is because, indeed, Link doesn't have much of a personality already, so you need to have a good personality. If you've got the companion and the main character having no personality at all, you're dealing with a pretty flat, boring game, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Obviously, you can have a game where there is no companion, and then the gameplay becomes the enjoyment, but I feel like once you have a companion, you always want a good one, and Eslo's a good one. Tattle is a great companion. King of Red Lions, he's a boat. I don't really know what to say other than that. He's alright. I mean, King of Red Lions is not too bad, but they use him a little differently. He's not always with you. He's with you when you're on the sea, and I guess he sort of is using the what's it called again, that stone? It's the Gossip Stone. He can talk to you through the Gossip Stone, so I guess he is always with you in a way. But yeah, Tattle was great, Eslo was great, Midna was perfect. Midna was just on another level. You know, it's kind of similar to Eslo in a way, but not the same. I mean, Eslo comes across as more of an older, wise soul, but he's got a bit of an attitude. Midna's just all attitude, and I love that. I could listen to her abuse me all day, really. Not that she's abusive, but she's got that sort of streak in her. Hold on for a moment, my boy. We've stumbled across something important. The world of the Minish is very small. You're far too big to meet them now. Eh? Who are the Minish? Ah yes, silly me. Allow me to explain. You humans call them Picori, but they refer to themselves as the Minish. Strange how, in the world of humans, only this forest has kept that name. Anyhow, deep in the forest they built a tiny village, where many now live. But if we're to enter the village, we'll have to make you a touch smaller first. Look at that. At first glance it appears to be a mere stump, yes? No, that stump is a portal used by people long ago to adjust their size. With my help, you can use it to shrink down to Minish size. Just stand on the stump and press R to shrink. To return to normal, stand next to the stump and press R. Keeping in mind that you can press R a second time during the animation to skip it, but I won't skip it the first time around. Get me up there and we'll give it a try. Let's jump on, and you can see that we have an R prompt to shrink. We press it, and like so, Eslo takes us down. If you press R a second time, you will be able to skip that. That takes quite a while, doesn't it? That's like 5 seconds to get into the stump, and then you have to manually make your way out. Well, not manually, actually, it automatically does it. Welcome to the world through the eyes of the Minish. Now aren't you glad you saved me? No need to thank me though. Portals that reduce your size are all around in different shapes and sizes. If you want to return to normal, stand next to a portal and press R. But there is one thing you must know. Being Minished size is full of dangers. Being Minished sized is full of dangers. Mere puddles at your normal size are bottomless swamps to the Minish. And as your companion, if anything bad happens to you, it happens to me too, so proceed with caution, my lad. If not for your sake, then for my own. Yes, indeed, Eslo. Imagine being a hat and having so much attitude. Okay, so this is tall grass here. Oh no, we can walk through it, apparently. I really thought that we couldn't walk through that. But this here, I think, is still going to kill us. Is that right? Yes. Well, not kill us, but you know, we drown if we go in there. You can see this very small log here. We can walk through that. We have... Oh no. Well, I was hoping to get onto it. Here we go. These little lily pads here act as... I suppose... well, it gives us safe passage through the... or across the water. Grants us safe passage across the water. There we go. That is Doomlink speaking English. Okay. So once I have really established myself in the Minish village, in other words, I've spoken to people and all of that business, I'll probably finish up this recording. It appears we have found the Minish village. They're pretty cute, aren't they? Picori! I'm not going to read all that shit, I'm sorry. I mean, you guys are probably like, no, you have to read it, Doomlink. Well, unfortunately, I don't feel like making myself out to be some kind of fool. Although I do that pretty well on my own, don't I, usually. I gather it's been quite some time since they last saw a human. What's that? You didn't understand what they were saying just now? Ah, yes, that was the language of the Minish. It's a little different from the dialect I am most familiar with. I'm afraid I didn't catch most of what they said myself.
but perhaps there is someone here who understands your language. We should look around. Now we don't have any, whatever they're called. Kinship stones, there we go. Or kinstones, kinship stones, I think. That's what it is, right? I don't know. So there's probably no point in speaking with the Minish, except for the one that we actually want to speak with. And he is going to be the village elder. I believe he's over here. He's in the big mushroom log. Here we go. And look at him. He's looking like a Minish elder, isn't he? Look at that giant hat and that giant staff. That staff would be a toothpick to us. I believe that staff would actually be toothpick sized in real life. Oh god, okay. You really have nothing to say? Except that shit? What have I done wrong? He doesn't speak to me? Oh, okay, it's not him. Who's the one who speaks? Well, Hylian, I guess, would be the language. Maybe he's in the library or something. I think this is where we want to go. Are you the one? You are the one. I've never seen an outfit like that before. Are you a human? Oh my, it's been quite some time since any humans came here. My name is Festari. I watch the Abbey, as well as the shrine to the north. You seem to be having some trouble with our language, don't you? You could use a Jabbernet. It will allow you to understand our tongue. You should be able to find one in the barrel house just south of here. Okay. Barrel house. Just south of here? Well, let's see if we can find it. Barrel house? No, that's not quite right. I mean, I think we want to go... Oh, we managed to get exactly to where we wanted to go. So can we... Here we go, there's the Jabbernet. I can see it right there. Check. Oh, Link, this must be the Jabbernet Festari told you about. Well, you'd better eat it if you plan on making any progress at all. You ate the Jabbernet. Now you can understand the language of the Minish. Isn't that convenient? Let's have a chat. So you've eaten the Jabbernet and now you can understand us. The Elder said that humans could no longer see us as they once could. It's amazing that you can see us. Well, there you go. I've got some Picori to talk to. You, or Minish, whatever I would rather say. You've heard of travellers who find a kinstone and get really lucky. Well, that's not how he would have said it. It was not quite the right, so... Or donate to your OnlyFans. What's this OnlyFans business? I wish I could eat something to understand a different language. Yes, indeed. You know, I actually know nothing about OnlyFans, I just know that everyone's talking about it lately. But I like being out of the loop, I enjoy that. Because the funny thing is that people will stop talking about OnlyFans pretty soon. Well, that's all thanks to items made by us Minish. You see, we thrive on making humans happy. It gives us energy. But we only do it in secret. Okay. I do enjoy the, I guess the house music. OnlyFans is already a dead meme. Good. As I said, there's no point fucking familiarizing myself with a meme that's gonna die in like a month. Oh dear, that's a... Oh no, that's a good head. That's a good head, I like that. I will actually, just because I need to drink all this beer, I will do a Breath of the Wild recording after this. I'm almost done with this one. I know you guys are probably thinking I could just go for longer here, but it's a live Let's Play, that's just how it is. Our ancestors, the ancient Minish, used the portal between our worlds. It brought them into the human world and they settled in this forest. Well, thanks for the history lesson, I guess. But let's go and speak to the Elder. He is the one that we really want to speak to here. And given that we have now eaten the Jabbernet, we can go and... have a chat with him. Oh, you speak our language. It's been quite a while since we've heard outsiders speak our tongue. We have little to offer you in these woods, but please enjoy your stay. Thank you for your offer, but we have no time to relax. My name is Eslo. This child is Link. We need to break a curse that has been cast on the Princess of Hyrule. To do so, I like how he's... Obviously, a discussion has been had between these two, Link and Eslo, but we were not privy to that discussion, mainly because you know how Link talks? He doesn't actually talk, he just goes... And then he does that for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then a whole conversation has been had. To do so, we'll need to reforge the broken Picori Blade. Ah yes, and you've come here now hoping to have the blade reforged? Well, if that's what you're after, you'll need 4 mystic elements. These elements are the crystalline forms of the energies of this world. Only by infusing the blade with these energies can a new blade be forged. Here, give me your map. Here, give me your map. I can mark these elements. I can mark where these elements can be found. And that is basically task number 1 of the game. This might be the task of the whole game, I really don't remember. No, I don't think it is. I think there's more to do after you acquire these 4 elements. But yes, the elements needed for the forging of the Phantom Sword in Phantom Hourglass do have... its origins can be found in this game, basically. Yes, rest in peace indeed, Andredo. It's one of those things. He speaks telepathically, yes, I would imagine so. The earth element can be found in the shrine to the north of Festari's Abbey. By the way, Andredo, if you're still watching, I will be doing Breath of the Wild very soon, after this recording, and I'm about to be done with this recording here, so yeah, you'll actually be able to watch that, I would imagine. Speak with Festari, he will show you the path to the shrine's entrance. Go with caution, evil creatures have lately made their home in our shrine. Return to me at once after you have found the earth element. I will indeed. In fact, I will speak with Festari in the next recording, because I will be making my way to the dungeon number 1, by talking with him. I won't like immediately arrive there, but that will indeed be for the next recording. So I will save the game, like so. And that will be the first part of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. I hope you guys enjoyed. There was a bit of a slow start there because I had a lot to talk about, but I'd say we made about the sort of progress that I would expect to make within an hour's time. Maybe not an hour and a half's time, but anyway. I do thank you all for watching. I'm going to go live in Breath of the Wild within 10 minutes of finishing this recording, and I'll just be playing through, not really knowing what I'm doing. I'll just be adventuring, I suppose, so I will see you guys at that time. In the meantime, I do thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all when I'm next recording the Minish Cap. Bye bye.